was counterfeit. Look how we changed the world after they doubted it. We are the light shining bright as the sun out this bitch. And yeah, I'm proud of it. Close my eyes and see the madness. Time passing. Beats blasting. I see police flashing. Lights for feet flashing. High fashion. Them seats packed and they came to see them flashing lights. I see the madness. Time passing. Beats blasting. I see police flashing. Lights for feet flashing. High fashion. Them seats packed and they came to see them flashing lights. Flashing. 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 They looking for them flashing lights. Flashing. Flashing. You ain't know you was a flashing light. My eyes to see the madness. Time passing. Beats blasting. I see police flashing. Lights for feet flashing. High fashion. Them seats packed and they came to see them flashing lights. Flashing. 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 They looking for them flashing lights. Flashing. Flashing. You ain't know you was a flashing light.
You straight.
You know, oftentimes, being that we live in a world so dark, we find ourselves searching outside ourselves, trying to find some sort of light, not knowing that the light is inside you. All the light, flashing, flashing, flashing. They looking for the flashing lights, flashing, flashing. You ain't know you was a flashing light, flashing, flashing, flashing. They looking for the flashing lights, flashing, flashing. You ain't know you was a flashing poetry in motion, like the trains that spray graffiti on. Early 80s, it was a form of social media. Way before hashtags, text message, emojis, it was brothers who had tags. All facts you could quote me. In fact, let's take it back further to ancient Kemet, where the blacks words were hieroglyphics, but to the average person, it's no connection there. They second guessing said, third eye calcified. They don't see the message clear. Me, I'm just a messenger, homie. Don't shoot the messenger. I did the research. You should study your lessons first. Started at block parties, now they just pop mollies. Fell asleep in a Chevy, woke up in a Bugatti. I'm just time traveling, and my mind trapped again. Gotta write it down, let's redefine rap again. She's swerving over the yellow lines, and I don't know who's driving. Some ass man, they told me it was a Jew behind my eyes to see the madness. Time passing, beats blasting. I see police flashing, lights for feet flashing. High fashion, them seats packed and they came to see them flashing lights.
Run that back. Run that back.
Knowing that the light is inside you.
Run this all the way back right quick. All right, here we go, y'all. Here we go, y'all. We about to get this thing started. About to get this thing started.
We find ourselves searching outside ourselves, trying to find some sort of light. Not knowing that the light is inside you. You are the light. Flashing, flashing, flashing. They looking for the flashing lights. Flashing, flashing. You ain't know you was a flashing light. Flashing, flashing, flashing. They looking for the flashing lights. Flashing, flashing. You ain't know you was a flash, poetry in motion, like the trains that spray graffiti.
Peace, peace, peace. Unlimited Faith, how you doing? We about to get this thing started in just a minute. We about to get this thing just started in just a minute. For Really Red, peace, peace. Appreciate you coming in the room, brother. I did the research. You should study your lessons first. Started at block parties, now they just pop mollies. Fell asleep in the Chevy. I see you, Black Dot. I'm gonna bring you in a minute.
trapped again. Gotta write it down. Let's redefine rap again.
Peace. I'm doing great. Doing great. Waiting for my brother Black Dot. We're gonna be joined by a special guest today. The Black Dot, author of the Urban Culture Decoded. That is our special guest of the day. Waiting for him to come on in the room, and we finna get started. Thank you. I appreciate that. That song is called Flashing Lights. Streaming right now on all streaming platforms.
That's why you see me glowing like I'm on fire inferno. Hip hop is my religion. That's why I'm true to that.
And you would love it too if only you knew the facts.
But no, you wasn't there. Studying pioneers, building skill to be one of the most undeniable heirs. I could cry a few tears. The way they did the culture. Her dead focus has become lunch meat for the vultures. Look what happened to jazz. Same goes for rock and roll. They speeding up the vibration, taking out the soul. And so the whole world's out of control.
KT, what's going on? Hey, peace, King. Yes, sir. For really rare. Yes, sir.
Can only focus on that 80s and that 90s shit. Got to zone into what them young homies is trying to spit. Cause our own parents told us our culture was counterfeit. Look how we changed the world after they doubted it. We are the light shining bright as the sun out this bitch. And yeah, I'm proud of it. Close my eyes to see the madness.
Time passing. Beats blasting. I see police flashing lights, but we flashing. High fashion. Them seats packed and they came to see them flashing lights. What's going on, family? All right, let me bring my brother in here. Let me bring my brother on in here. Peace to everybody watching on YouTube. Peace to everybody that's tuning in on Instagram. Welcome to Sincere Love the Godcast. And today we are talking about our top 10 albums of 2020. And we are going to be joined by a special guest, the legendary Black Dot, author of the Urban Culture Decoded. Anywhere where you get your music, Unlimited Faith. Anywhere where you get your music, just type in Sincere Love to God, and you'll see my stuff come up. Okay, I'm waiting for my brother to join. That's why you can't hear me. The sound will come back in a minute. But again, like I was saying to my people on YouTube, today we are joined on Sincere Love to Godcast by our brother, the Black Dot, author of Urban Culture Decoded, and we are going to be talking about our top 10 albums from 2020. So I appreciate y'all joining me tonight, and I want y'all to give my brother a nice, warm welcome as we bring him into Sincere Love to Godcast right about now. What's going on, King?
Peace, family. What's good?
Peace, Black man. How you doing?
I'm amazing, man. Glad to be here on a Sunday afternoon, chopping it up. Congratulations on the podcast.
Thank you, sir.
It's a great look. It's really a great look. I'm trying to get in on the gram with you.
Yeah, that's what I see. I just sent you a request. They can't hear me right now, so it's just waiting for you to accept the request. And then
how do I do that? I don't know how do I do that? I'm saying hello.
Did you see a request from me?
I did, but then it said canceled or something.
Oh, it said canceled? All right, hold on a second. Can't hear. I know. Hold on. I'm sending you another request right now. All right, it says waiting on the Black Dot. So you should see something pop up. There you go.
Boom.
There you go. All right, now I got to do something about this volume situation.
Because it's going to echo? Because it's on both?
Maybe. This might not be a good idea.
I don't know. Try to do both.
Yeah, that's not good. Hey, listen, everybody that's on Instagram, if you want to join the live stream, go over to my YouTube channel right now, at Sincere Love to God, to join the live stream. As you can see, we chopping it up with the legendary Black Dot. The sound is a little janky with us trying to stream both. So I want y'all to come on over to the YouTube channel, go to Sincere Love to God, and we streaming live right now. I appreciate y'all for joining. Share this with your friends, tag somebody, let them come on into the conversation. It's going to be a fun conversation that we're going to have about our top 10 albums of 2020. So y'all come on in. All right, yeah. That ain't going to work out.
Back, it's great.
That ain't going to work out. But we straight over here, brother. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Pleasure. Pleasure's all mine, King.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I definitely appreciate having you, man. I wanted to have you, especially for this conversation, because your insight is always very unique. You always come with a different outlook on things than most people would think of. So I was like, yeah, Black Dot would be the perfect person to end the year off and talk about some of this music and some things that have been going on in the culture, man.
I appreciate it. Absolutely.
How you been feeling about the releases for the year? And some good ones?
I thought we had some really good releases, man. Coming off a period in 2018 when mumble rap was ruling and we were kind of drifting away from the actual culture. I thought we came back strong. I thought a couple of iconic albums came out. I thought a lot of new guys who are getting back to basics and skill set came back. I thought the whole Griselda movement.
Yes, sir.
It's very intricate. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And that has good and bad points, and we'll talk about it, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to get into it right now. So for those of y'all that's not familiar, hold on, just let me share this. Try to get some people to come on over to YouTube.
Yes, sir.
But the Instagram looked like it was about to be lit. For real. All right. So yeah, for those of y'all that's not familiar, today we are joined by the Black Dot, who is the author of. Oh, I can actually let me share this screen real quick. Let me stop sharing this one. I'm gonna try to flex with the graphics. You know what I'm saying? We ain't up to Urban X TV standards yet, but we working on it though.
Oh, good.
You know what I'm saying? All right, let me stop sharing that screen, and I'm gonna go over here. Okay, bet. For those of y'all not familiar with my brother, man, this is not the only book that you got out though, right? You want to plug some of the other books?
Hip Hop Decoded was my first book. That was like 15 years ago. And it became like almost like the Behold the Pale Horse of hip hop, really dropped a lot of eye-opening information. But the book now that I have out, or it's been out, the latest book is Urban Culture Decoded, which is a kind of a mixture of hip hop, but also what birthed hip hop, the environment. You know, why do we see the liquor stores, the churches, the check cashing places, the Chinese restaurants, and what they all mean for when we perceive certain things, and how when it's time for us to become creative, this is what we're drawing from. And it's a jungle, but we were built for it. And this is why those who come out of this jungle we call America are like no other people. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like the Dr. Claude Anderson always says, we are exceptional people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it has a lot to do with our history, you know, going back to slavery and all of that stuff, but also, you know, living in these urban communities and just having to adapt in these environments with basically nothing, being deprived of regular resources, you know what I'm saying, and trying to figure it out. And some of these things that you break down in the book get real deep, real heavy, brother. Real talk.
Yeah, but because we endured more than what most people can imagine. So when we get our foreign brothers and sisters from Africa and other places, they come over here and they say, well, what's the problem? Well, you don't understand the psychological things that we've been through collectively. And those of us who make it, we have to become new people. So yes, we are the Israelites. We are the Nation of Islam. We are the Moors. We are the 5%. We're all of that. You know what I mean? So to pinpoint when we began to get into these fights about our history, it's useless because we're all of that and then some, and we're all trying to put the pieces back together. But no other people in the history have endured what we have endured, and we're still thriving. We're still shining. We're still the beacons of light for a lot of people around the world. They don't know how we do it, you know?
No doubt, no doubt. And so another thing that I heard you break down earlier in the year, before we get into the top 10 and all that, you on your show on the Urban X podcast, you were talking about, you were comparing the year 2020 to, I think it was 1990. Yeah. 1990, and you were showing the parallels, certain things that are in common with this year, with that year. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, when we start looking at the music, and now it's getting back to the drug talk, and I understand that is a part of the culture. And as we speak about this drug talk, we look who's just been put in office. It's Biden. And Biden, when that drug talk and all of that was really at its height, was the one who was drafting the crime bill that put a lot of brothers and sisters away, you know, brothers in particular away. And the apex of that was in 88, 89, 90. And that 3 strikes you out crime bill destroyed a lot of families. because a lot of brothers were going to prison for small crimes, and we know the importance of the black male in the family. So the trickle down effect was crazy. And now that I'm hearing all the drug talk come back, and brothers, it sounds like 1990. You know what I mean? Then I look up and see the president. So it just had a real eerie feeling for me to show you how we can move time back and forth, because music has always been a time marker. You know what I'm saying? So R.I.P. Ecstasy from Houdini, who just passed away. But when I hear One Love, I can remember exactly where I was the very first time I heard it. And I can remember being in the roller skating rink and all of these things. So we understand that music has the ability to shift our consciousness forward and backward. So now that we on the Griselda tip, no knock on them, because they are masterful MCs, my Lord. You know, I don't know who's better from day to day. If it's Conway or Benny, it all depends who dropped next.
Real talk.
Tomorrow, he'll back.
Real talk.
To show you, and the MCs that they're bringing along as well. My only concern is, as an elder now, understanding the importance of the lyrics and how they shape generations. I want to make sure we don't get too far off track and just understand that the drug component is one component of who we are, and it doesn't, overtake the music scene, because we're in the quickening right now, God. So things that maybe had take 5 and 10 years, in 2 years, boom, with the internet, it can really affect this generation.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So we got to just be careful,
Yeah, we definitely got to be cognizant of the messages that we putting out, the images that we putting out, and, just the culture in general. You know what I'm saying? We got to be making sure that we are being mindful. It's okay to do your art and make entertainment, but at the same time, you got to bear in mind your audience, who your audience is, and understand that sometimes our youth haven't been taught to differentiate between entertainment and instruction.
You hit it right on the beat. That's the whole key. For those of us who can discern that, that's fine. It's like when we go to a movie to see the Terminator, we know we're going to see a movie to see the Terminator. So I don't want to deflate the artistic expression, but there is an effect to that on younger minds, and younger not being age-wise, because a lot of these older dudes act like they're 15 and 16.
Right.
So as a collective, we have to be very cognizant, like you said, that we have a responsibility, and that responsibility. And then when I get on my soapbox and I'm speaking about the 80s and 90s, I'm not trying to be biased, but we did have a balance. We had Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. We had Kid and Play. We had a whole Native Tongues. We had Coogee Rap, just some street stuff. We had Rakim and Big Daddy Kane dropping knowledge of self. We had KRS-One, who was trying to, revolutionize. We had Public Enemy. So we did have a diverse, so the culture, had a little bit more. If you sat down to listen to it, you could learn so much. And then we kind of just narrowed in, because corporations got involved and saw that sex sells, just like in Hollywood and anywhere else, and wanted to kill 3 birds with one stone, shut off the spiritual growth, recognizing how important music was, making sure that we don't get no positive messages by way of their radio stations. And they wanted to make all the money, by promoting sex and drugs, which led to private prisons. And it's an ongoing effect that we're still recovering from now. So this is very, very deep. And, we have to be held accountable at some point for it,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so before we move on, I wanted to still touch on the 2020 and 1990 thing.
All day, Lord. Let's go.
Okay, no doubt, no doubt. That's what's up. That's what I like to hear. And so when I heard you say that, the wheels started turning in my head. And so I started seeing a lot of similarities between 2020 and 1996. You know what I'm saying? And particularly with the Benny the Butcher album, with the Nas album, I feel like the King's Disease was like the new It Was Written.
Yes.
I feel like Benny the Butcher's album was the new Reasonable Doubt. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And also, again, when you bring up the Joe Biden thing, the crime bill era and all that, you know what I'm saying? It was the 94 crime bill, but 96, the devastation was taking place. You know what I'm saying? I got swept up in that. You know what I mean? I caught a bid around that time. You know what I'm saying? So I was one of the super predators that they was talking about.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? So I started to see a lot of comparisons there, and I was like, you know, Black Dot got me thinking over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What is that on a metaphysical level? Like, how would you break that down metaphysically? What's taking place? Like,
Well,
that space-time continuum.
in my humble opinion, they understand the past, present, and future really exist simultaneously. So if they want us to relive an event, they just shift certain things around, especially music-wise, because we're the true ones who can really bring it to light. So they sit back and know that we're the ones with the biggest voices and the imprint and the magic through the melanin on our community. So they can have us create a certain sound, and they can collectively say, this is going to be the sound that we go with. This is what we pushing. And if everybody of these 4 major labels decide that this is what the narrative is going to be, that narrative is placed in motion. And we, in our psyche, like you said, will remember times of 1996, and we'll begin to see the similarities. And let's not even talk about us economically. We're in the same place we was in 96 than we are now. It's the illusion that we're doing better, but the brothers are still hustling. We still out here trying to get it. So, but it works both ways, because Public Enemy I always use as an example when I speak about my lectures. I say there was a whole new generation who don't know who Public Enemy is or was, but Flavor Flav doing his show, right, with the clock on as a symbol of time. A new generation only remember Flav as clowning and buffooning, and then when they are introduced to Public Enemy, that way maybe their father or somebody, they can't get out of their mind the buffoon that Flavor is. So when they see Flavor in his actual role as the hype man, or the most important hype man in music perhaps, bringing that energy, but they can't get out of their psyche of how they seen him with white women just acting other than himself, it confuses. And that way they can destroy Public Enemy without actually destroying Public Enemy. It's real sorcery how they move this around. Now, we older, we know better. So we know Public Enemy in its rawest form, but young generations, they go, wait a minute, isn't that the dude from Flavor of Love? And then when he's up there saying, yeah, boy, they can't get it out of their mind, all the buffoonery. So it kind of dampens and kills the message that was 30 years ago. They can kill that message from 30 years ago with an image of Flavor Flav today. So it's real weird how they can move that around metaphysically with time and space.
That's heavy. That's heavy right there, brother, man. And we know that you yourself, you know, you have a long history in hip hop and the culture and the industry as well. You know what I'm saying? So I was going to ask you, you brought up Ecstasy from Houdini a little bit earlier. Rest in peace to Ecstasy. I was going to ask you if you had any encounters or run-ins with the brothers back in the days, because I know, you know what I'm saying, you was around, you know what I mean?
I never had
and shakers.
I had a couple of run-ins with his DJ. His DJ was close friends with one of the dudes in my group called Tall, Dark, and Handsome. Now, one of the reasons I named the group Tall, Dark, and Handsome was because of Houdini. And meaning Houdini had class, they had style, they had grace, and that's what we were pushing for on this particular album. Because when you hear the name Tall, Dark, and Handsome, you're probably thinking of one person. So we split it in 3 people so that we could kind of bring that essence. And if the template came from Houdini, you know, it was the first one to maybe fuse in a little R&B with a little bit of hip hop, and they just had style and grace. So I had a couple of chances to rock with his DJ, but never got a chance to meet Ecstasy himself.
Okay, no doubt, no doubt. And what y'all seeing on the screen is that Tall, Dark, and Handsome album from '88, y'all.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We chopping it up with a whole legend right here, man.
Yes,
just
sir.
For those of y'all that's not familiar. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I just had to share that. Just so that people could know, you know, what's going on, man.
No, much appreciated. Because a lot of times, you know, when I'm talking hip hop, and that time marker for me is very important, God. Now, the album wasn't a classic or none of that kind of stuff, but it was comparable to the music of that day. And what I mean by that is we had a single, which was called Tall, Dark, and Handsome, with a Michael Jackson sample that people are using today. We had a song about our borough. You know, you had to rep the borough. We had a song about our DJ. We had to do that. We had a song basically like Crack is Whack. So we had all of the components of what made up an album during that day. And, you know, B-Boy Records, you just can't trust. Making funky music is a must. I'm number one. When KRS-One said that, because we was on B-Boy Records, no DJs would play us. So we didn't even get a fair shot, except for DJ Red Alert. Red Alert defied all odds, and he bumped us for like 3 months straight. And back then, you just wanted to hear your record on the radio. It wasn't even about sales or nothing. So I'm always in debt to Red Alert for making me feel like a superstar in my neighborhood. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
That's why that album is important. So when I'm speaking from this perspective, people can know that I was in there, you know, prior to that. You know, I dropped that 32 years ago, you know.
B-Boy Records, that was what, an indie label?
Yeah, that was the label KRS-One did Criminal Minded on.
Oh, okay.
So he did that album, he did Criminal Minded on B-Boy Records. That's why I signed to B-Boy, because I wanted to rock with Chris.
And you from the PX, right?
He was getting off of B-Boy Records as we were signing because of their dirty dealings. So he got a new deal with Jive, and I was stuck on B-Boy. And then when he got the job, he said, B-Boy Records, you just can't trust. And the rest is history.
Yeah. That killed it, especially with how powerful Chris's voice was at that time.
Right. And DJs stuck together. You know what I'm saying? So people was like, nah, son, nah. And I was like, wow. So I got caught in the middle of something that had Chris stayed on B-Boy Records. I think our album would have did better. And my legacy may have been more expansive, you know.
So you have a quote that I'm always messing up in all of my interviews. You know what I'm saying? Because I always be giving you love and shouting you out and stuff. And it seems like the topic of the degeneracy in hip hop often comes up in my interviews. People always talk about, you know what I'm saying, the low vibration, the low frequencies and all that. And you have a quote that I always mess up where you say they take the lowest vibration or the lowest frequency from our culture. And go ahead before I mess it up again. What's the quote, brother?
Maximum exposure.
Say the whole quote.
Vibration of our frequency and give it maximum exposure.
Now break it down.
So, and in that sense, they could show anything they want of us as a collective, but they choose to show the lowest vibration because it justifies how they treat us from a worldview. You know what I mean? So we in America, we know how movies work. We know how satire work. Like if a guy's just, you know, being funny, but when people outside of America see those images, they can't differentiate between if we clowning or if we serious. So that's why World Star became very, very dangerous. You know, because it was the #1 search engine around the world for a lot of people who didn't know nothing about our culture. Even Christoph Porzingis, who played for the Knicks, he played for Dallas now. He said he learned English by watching World Star.
Wow.
Which means he also learned a lot of bad things about who we are because World Star is only showing the most negative aspects of who we are.
Yes,
so
sir.
That sparked something in me. And I said, well, how many other countries are using that same template of, you know, World Star and all of these negative sites to figure out who we are? And we're much greater than that. We got doctors, lawyers, scientists, agriculturalists. We so much as a people, but all they do is show us entertaining. And, you know, that's a part of the issues. And
buffoons. And yeah, and it has effect on us as well. Not just the images that they broadcasting around the world, but you have some of our people who buy into that, who believe those things about us. You know what I'm saying? And you grew up right here with us, but you know what I'm saying? You vibrating on such a low frequency, you believe that about your own self. And so you start perpetuating it. You start normalizing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The more and more you see it, and the more it's in your life, the shock value of it goes away. You accept it as norm. You grow up in the hood, you see dead bodies, it's no big deal. You see drugs, this becomes the norm, but it's not normal. We have been, you know, we're dealing with postmortem syndrome here. You know what I mean? So we're affected. Our children are definitely affected. And it becomes our duty as a civilized to teach the uncivilized as we go along. So, you know, it becomes a task when we're going against our own brothers who decide that they want to cash in and exploit. And then we have the task of trying to raise the dead. It's a quagmire.
Yes, yes, yeah. Quagmire. For real, for real. So today we're going to be talking about top 10 albums of 2020. And like you said, in my opinion, and we share the same opinion, it was a pretty good year for music.
Yes.
And so
yes.
we're going to talk about some of the albums that came out and what was our personal favorites. But here, as you see on your screen right here, man, here go a little recap for y'all, some of the stuff that came out. You know, some of these you may be familiar with, some you may not. This is my brother Smooth Haynes, dude out of Connecticut, real ill MC, the GQ of rap. He actually dropped 2 LPs, and I bumped them both as one album. You know what I'm saying? But we had the J Electronica joint. You know, me and my brother dropped the King by Any Means. Jeezy dropped something. The Goody Mob dropped something. Shout out to Salam Remy, the Young Boy, NLE Chopper. NLE Chopper dropped a real interesting project. The Busta Rhymes, King Von. You know, we had the Burden of Proof, T.I.'s joint, Black Thought. It was a few good joints this year, man. So we about to get into it. So for you, Black Dot, let's start from number 10. Let me see who you got at number 10, man.
I didn't put them in no order, but for number 10, I'm gonna say 38 Special just dropped an album. Came out this week called Interstate 38. And as you know, he's a part of that Griselda. As Noah, I keep messing up the female's name.
Che Noir.
Che Noir. And so I thought his album at number 10 for me rocked really well. Again, the same theme of up and down the interstate, you know, moving that product. And I like to get metaphysical and say now the dope that they're moving is actually dope music. You know what I'm saying? Because it's impossible for you guys to be moving that much dope unless y'all been paying homage to an era when we did that. And I can respect that too. So got a couple of features on there that I thought was dope. So that would probably be my number 10 out of, you know, the ones that I picked up. You know?
No doubt. And I didn't get a chance to hear that. A couple of people was telling me to tap in with that joint. And I think him and Che Noir, is that the one you're talking about? They have a collab together?
No, but he has one on his own. The collab is dope too.
Okay.
Che Noir, but he got one that just dropped this week. It's called Interstate 38, where he's just going off. Him and a bunch of people that he bring in on the joint, they just going off. And I thought it really rocked. You know what I mean?
I definitely got to check that out. I didn't get a chance. So for y'all, man, that's listening, everybody got their own opinion about what your favorite albums was and all that, you know. So these conversations are always controversial.
Right. That's the beautiful thing about it. Because you may put me on to something and then I go, oh, I got to check that out because that's what we used to do back in the days. Yo, you heard so-and-so? Yo, hold that tape or whatever the case may be. So absolutely.
Yes, sir, man. So, you know, you can have your favorites. I can have my favorite. It's no big deal, man. And I didn't get to hear everything. So this is just based off of the joints that I did hear. Because, you know, nowadays, something dropping every week. I can't keep up. You know what I'm saying?
Even as me trying to keep up with hip-hop, it's impossible. I just can't. I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, for real. So number 10 for me, man, I got Westside Gun, Who Made the Sunshine.
Ooh, great choice.
Who Made the Sunshine joint.
Great choice.
It's a fire album, man.
Yeah.
The dude, he's special. You know what I mean? He's very special and unique. Just the way he thinks, the way he approaches the music, his beat selection and all of that.
Aesthetic. The entire aesthetics of what he brings to the game is overlooked because he's dealing with 2 other pillars that are really superb. Get the artistic expression that he possessed. Very good choice.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. On that joint too, right?
And yes, sir. So I'm about to say, shout out to A.A. Rashid. I know that's your man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they should be bringing some balance. You know what I'm saying? As you were saying, we understand it's just entertainment, but they got the right type of people in the background that's around them that's going to be able to balance that thing out and make it what it's supposed to be.
And I think a lot of times we judge artists too early in the game. So I usually like to give an artist 3 or 4 albums to see if there's some growth there. Or you're still going to be telling me about the same stuff. And now I know you're a multi-millionaire corporate guy, and yet you're still talking street stuff. Now we have a disconnect there. So as an artist, I expect you to grow with your music. You know, get grown and sexy with it. Let us know where you're from. That's cool. But let us know where you're going so that at least there's a blueprint, so to speak, for young guys to be able to move from A to Z. You know what I mean?
Yes,
and you
sir.
can thank Jay-Z for that because he laid down the ultimate blueprint of how to move from the streets to be a corporate billionaire and all the spots in between.
And that will help you be able to stay relevant when the tide shifts as well, because a lot of times your audience will outgrow the content. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
I was listening to Mobb Deep when I was 15, 16 years old. Now when I'm 29, 30 years old, they still saying the same stuff. It's not going to resonate the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You got kids now. You got other responsibilities, and you want your music and your artists to grow with you.
Absolutely.
They don't have to go out on the limb, but just grow. Just show growth as your music goes along. I want to hear growth, so I try not to judge too early for young artists. Because a lot of these young artists don't know no better. But when they know better, I'm expecting them to do better. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So moving along. I'll do my number 9 first, and then you could go.
Okay.
I got Pop Smoke, man, at number 9. R.I.P. Pop Smoke.
Ooh.
I enjoyed the album. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't expect to enjoy the album. When it came out, I was down here. I'm in South Carolina right now visiting my mom. I was down here when that album dropped over the summer. And I just put it on while we was driving around. We looking for the water park and stuff like that. I just threw it on, not really expecting much. I know the kids rock with them. The kids is in the back. They want to hear the new Pop Smoke joint. I wasn't expecting much. But I threw it on, and that joint ride from beginning to end, man. I thought 50 did a good job, putting everything together.
50 did an amazing job on that project. He really did. And it gave me an opportunity to get to know Pop Smoke as an artist, not the street legend and what I was hearing. Once you get in between them lines, bro, and you got an opportunity to speak to people, I need to come out on the other side knowing more about you than when I came in the project.
Yes,
sir. So with that being said, I thought 50 did an amazing job, and 50 didn't smother the album with 50. You know what I'm saying? Pick and choose, bang, bang. I thought his feature selection was good because it was relevant with the day and time. So that is a great number 9 pick. Great.
Yeah, I wanted to throw him on there, man, show him some love because, when I first was hearing the first couple of songs or whatever, I was like, whatever, just another somebody I ain't really paying no mind to like that. But when I threw on the album, man, it was a pleasant surprise, man. It rocks all the way through. The thing just rides.
Yeah. And I always tell people too, I listen to an album when I did your guys' review, I listened to an album 3 and 4 times before I like to really, because the first time you just popping it in, I see that one right there. I'm like, the second time I'm really indulged. By that third time when I'm on the highway with an hour and a half ride, I'm getting into the meat and potatoes, drums, cadence, concept. And then by then I can go, okay, because sometimes I'll listen to something one time and go, I really didn't like that. But then when we clean in the house or doing something and it's just a relaxed mode, you get to really feel that artist. I tell people, try to listen 3 or 4 times before you just jump out on a limb and be like, I hate this album or I don't like this album. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of times people want to be first and, just throw their opinion out there. Let it marinate, man. Back in the days, we used to be listening to the album all year.
6 months to a year, you take a Rakim album or something and try to digest. But we're in the quickening and people, now you listen and a week later you on to something else. And it's unfair to the artist because you used to be able to live with an artist. Now I don't have that kind of time. I got to rock with you, take my 2 or 3 favorite joints, maybe, make a mixtape or something, but I don't have time to digest because somebody's knocking on my virtual window with something else. Oh, you got to check this out. Got to rock with that,
Exactly, man.
My number 9, I went with Stove Guard Cooks.
Stove Guard Cooks. I heard that.
Reasonable Drought. And I stumbled. I know Aaron Cooks. I mean, I've met him once or twice and know of him, should I say, when he was with Lord Jamar. And Lord Jamar was, bringing him along. And I thought he was dope. Then he had a different kind of style that kind of sat in the pocket. People kept saying, you got to check out the Reasonable Drought. And I said, all right. So, you get some time. And I popped it in, bro. It just really, really rocks. And it was produced by Rock Marciano, I'll get into him a little later. So
Mm-hmm.
he produced it, and his track selection is real funky. You know what I'm saying? Real abstract. And I thought Stove God really, really rocked off on this one. I thought he really hit it on the nail. Again, it's street talk. It's on the stove cooking, you know, up the substances. But for style and production and wordplay, I thought, you know, he represented. You know what I mean? He represented hard on that.
I had never heard of him. And my brother Lou Season, who I did the King by Any Means album with, he sent it to me. And at the same time, I got the message from him. I was scrolling on Instagram and Lord Jamal had posted it at the same time.
Same time.
So I probably wouldn't even listen to it if my man would have just sent it to me. I probably would have been like, all right, whatever, I'll get to that. But being that it happened the way it happened, I said, okay, I'm listening to this today.
Yeah, synchronicity, absolutely.
I had it on while I was in the gym. I'm working out and all that. And yo, he goes in. He goes in.
He definitely goes in.
And like you said, Rock Mars on the production. I'm like, okay, so this like you said, Griselda is ushering in a whole entire movement, a whole entire frequency is coming in behind these brothers.
And what they're doing too is they're reaching back nostalgically and doing duets and features with dudes from the 80s and 90s. They got a joint with Coogee Rap, of course, Method Man. They are saying you were my heroes, which we should have been doing. Why there's a split between so-called old school and new school guys when y'all should be reaching out like Big Daddy, like Drake should do a song with Big Daddy Kane. You know what I'm saying? I could see that connection. You know, Kendrick Lamar with maybe Kumo D. You got to reach back because these elders laid the foundation, and white people will never let you forget who the Rolling Stones were, who the Doors were. They honor them, but we've created such a separation. So Griselda, I give them a lot of credit for saying, yo, bro, I recognize your greatness in the 80s and 90s. Let's put something together so I can introduce you to a new crowd, and your crowd can be introduced to me as a new artist. It's brilliant. I really do think it's brilliant.
I love it, man. Like you said, man, the Rolling Stones are rock and roll legends. But like Big Daddy Kane said, he's an old school rapper.
Right.
That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? So we got to start paying homage and we got to start paying respect and, you know, giving people they crowns and they thrones while they still here, man. In order for this thing to really carry on.
Even Houdini should have been praised more while they were here. You know, waiting till the God make the transition to go, oh yeah, Houdini was dope. They've been dope. So we have to close that gap. It's no beef between the new school and the old school
at all.
Let's move past that and see how every new school dude should tap back and get an old school guy, either hire them as A&R directors or put them on songs to say, I respect what you do. The only reason I'm here is because of what you guys did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and sometimes we get people that's not necessarily within the culture, not really part of the culture, who actually do that. Like Bruno Mars. You know what I'm saying? He had Melly Mel on the record.
What's this guy? I forget his name. Another one of the guys had Melly Mel, Kumo D, and Grandmaster Caz on a record together.
You know what I'm saying?
And it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing because it took a white boy to go, wait a minute, I recognize those guys, those iconic figures, because a lot of these old school dudes, remember, it wasn't a lot of money back then.
At all.
They didn't know about business. They just wanted to get their record on. You guys are reaping the benefit. That's like saying Charles Barkley, who averaged 25 and 15, the most he probably made is $4 million a year, or probably because of the times. You got guys now making 75 million who couldn't carry his damn sweats. So we understand the monetary times we're in, you can benefit more, but doesn't mean that these guys weren't talented and laid the foundation for all these things to come.
And that was Macklemore that he's speaking about. Yeah,
Exactly. So my number 8, since we're talking about Griselda and them, is gonna be King to God by Conway.
Love it.
Love the album. Like I said, between him and Benny, it's all depending on who I'm listening to. I'm gonna tell you who's better. I thought the collaboration with Method Man was dope. Of course, the Spurs when him and his team got together, dope. The production, dope. Each one of these individuals have their own style, but when they come together, it creates like an orchestra. It's really, really tight. And this brother's just amazing, man. You can tell that they're hungry. You can tell when they're not on the road, they're in their room writing because they just hit the booth with new stuff constantly and they pushing and challenging each other. I just watched Steph Curry shoot 105 3-pointers for 5 minutes straight before he missed. That's what we call predictive programming. That means when the game is actually on, 5 minutes straight, 105 before he missed one. So when the game is in play, you can't say he didn't put the work in. Same thing with artists. When you get too high on the hog and you don't stay hungry, these young boys will eat you alive. So I can tell that they stay hungry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I appreciate the fact that they reach back not only to the other artists, to the old school artists, but even the producers.
Yeah.
He got Havoc on that joint. He got
Premier on that joint too.
Premier's on there. Premier's on there. I think Pete Rock. Pete Rock is on one of them projects.
Yeah.
One of them got a Pete Rock joint. So yeah, man. Again, we're gonna be talking about Griselda throughout this whole conversation because
absolutely.
You know what I mean? They've been bringing it, man. My number 8. We on 8, right?
Yeah.
My number 8 is My Turn, Lil Baby.
Ooh, I didn't even hear that album.
You didn't hear that?
But I heard about it. I
Lil
heard
Baby,
about
man.
it. And I said, don't sleep. They said, don't sleep on this Lil Baby dude. He gets it in.
Nah, very solid project, man. I always like to pick the standouts from the new school guys, the real standouts from them. And he's definitely leading the charge as far as I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying? This whole Atlanta wave and all that stuff. You know what I mean? The project is very solid from beginning to end. You know, they got their one style. They stay in their one lane. They're not super versatile. He is who he is, but he does it on a high level. He does it very well. And I see his growth lyrically. You know what I'm saying? From the previous projects up to this one, I see maybe he got a ghostwriter behind the scenes. I don't know. But he definitely got some bars, you know what I'm saying, to go with that flow. You know what I'm saying?
And you as an MC, you would know that.
Yes.
Like I remember when Lil Wayne didn't have no bars.
Yep.
It was very simple. And then I heard him come back and I'm like, something changed here. You know, something changed here. Either you got in your bag or you got a team to help you understand cadence and punchlines, because after that, he really took off to a whole nother level. So by you recognizing Lil Baby from one project to the next, he shored some things up. See, I'm a little old school. I want to write all of my stuff. Now, if me and you on a song together and you got the hook, I'm cool with that. All right, Doc, this is the hook, and I go bet. Nowadays, this is such a multi-billion-dollar business that it's all about the best product. Like we got on Drake, he ain't writing his stuff, and I'm with all of that, but he don't miss. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to his lane and what he do, he don't miss. So whatever his team is doing, they're like, listen, I just want to put the best product out. And women, which is his major audience, women could care less who wrote it.
Exactly.
Is it banging? Then your mama rock to that. And your mama can rock the Drake song. So they don't care about only the nostalgic, those of us who take that serious want to care about who wrote the bars. So, and monkey see, monkey do. So now Drake is ushering in a bunch of dudes who probably got teams of writers, and they're looking to put the best product out, and it works for this generation. You know,
and I think it's okay, man. I think we just have to be able to compartmentalize things. You know what I'm saying? We have to put the MCs in a separate category from guys like that. You know what I'm saying? Because MCing requires that you write, because that is the talent. A lot of people like this bring up like Beyonce. They say, well, Beyonce got 30 writers working on a record or whatever. But Beyonce's talent is she could sing. Yeah. She's a performer. She could dance. You know what I'm saying? So but if you were supposed to be an MC, the talent is supposed to be that you could write rhymes.
Amen.
You can't replace that.
If you're not writing rhymes, don't have your ghostwriters taking shots at real MCs.
Yeah.
Now you're playing yourself.
Come on now.
Stay in your lane and make a good record. And I'm like, okay, that's a great record. If you saying you an MC and you're gonna get on this mic and you're gonna tear somebody down, you got to be able to back that up instantly. You know what I mean? So there's the rappers and there's the MCs. And I differentiate that in my books all the time. A rapper can do Scooby-Doo raps. It's more about the beat. They just staying in rhythm. And MCs, they want to put something down that you remember, you know, something clever, you know, something intelligent, something swift, something where the vocabulary shifts your paradigm and thinking, something that make you rewind that because there's double, triple, and quadruple entendres on top of it. Those are the ones who are the alchemists, the true masters, the ones who are just saying, listen, just give me a dope beat and let me put something for the masses. You know what I mean? When your grandmother gets on the floor, she like that song. You know, that's different. Those are my rappers. And they have a place in this world as well.
All right. Peace, Jay Jones. Appreciate you stopping by, brother. Appreciate you. So I got one R&B album on this list, man. R&B didn't do too much for me this year, but I really enjoyed Jhené Aiko's album Chilombo. I was able to make a good connection and bond with my daughter over this album because Jhené Aiko is one of her favorite artists of today.
And how old is your daughter? My
daughter's 14.
Okay, perfect.
She's 14. So her favorite artist is SZA, Jhené Aiko, and Summer Walker. Those are her three girls right there.
Yeah.
So Jhené Aiko, she dropped this album and she had a Nas feature on there. And so my daughter called me super excited because that's my favorite MC.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So my daughter called me. She like, Dad, did you hear Jhené Aiko's album? And I'm like, nah, I ain't get to check it out yet. She like, you gotta listen to it. The whole album is fire. But guess what? I'm like, what's up? She like, Nas is on there. I said, oh. I said, okay, that's what this phone call is about. All right, I'm gonna check it out today, baby girl. And I loved it. I like her as an artist. I like her as a writer. I like her voice, her whole vibe. I like her, you know what I'm saying? But that album was a real good album. It was probably her best album so far. And you know what I mean? Making that connection with Baby Girl, I had to include that on the list. You know?
Nice. And listen, again, that album takes on different meaning for you because anything that's going to bridge the gap between you and your daughter, you know what I'm saying, where at least conversation is now exchanged. That happened for me with Lil Wayne Carter 4. And I wasn't a Lil Wayne fan. And Malcolm kept saying, Dad, you got to check out. And my nephew's this little, you know, this. And one day I was cleaning the house and I got it. I said, okay. So then I was able to open up a conversation with younger people in my neighborhood because whenever you, as an educator, you shit on their generation, they just shit on you and they shut you down. So I never throw the baby out with the bathwater. So that's why I listen to everything. Mumble rappers, this, that, so I can stay abreast. So when the conversation begins, I can have something of equal value to bring to the table about your generation. So if this album did that for you and your daughter, it's amazing because now she'll bring some more music to you. You can introduce her to some music. And I think that leads to a really great relationship.
Yes, sir. Shout out to baby girl Azalea, man. And she's building a nice vinyl collection too for herself, man. She just got Stevie Wonder album. She got the Michael Jackson Thriller album. She got, Lauryn Hill joint. She got a nice little vinyl collection going on. She got Illmatic, of course.
Yo, that vinyl is making a comeback, God.
Yeah.
People want something tangible because remember, we had the album covers. You know, we open up the credits while the joint is playing. We wanted to see who produced that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Who's featured. And, with this digital stuff, you don't get all of that. You just get the music. Even when the albums, we turn them around. We looked at the artwork. The artwork was huge.
Yes.
Or what are they trying to say here? So that nostalgic aspect is coming back. And as an artist, it's another lane for you to make some money now because digitally, you're not making the money no more. So if you print up a limited edition, listen, I got 200 albums, limited edition, LPs, wax. That's another way where you tangibly can put something in your hand. You know what I mean? Because they've taken away all of that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's important too. I learned that, Jewel, from A.A. Rashid as well.
Yeah.
Talking about having physical products, You know what I'm saying? As opposed to just depending on everything being digital. Because if this thing crashes and you lose everything, it's like you was never here.
It was like you was never here.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So that was your number 7, right?
That was 7, yeah.
My
So
number
your
7 is gonna be Nas King's Disease.
Woo!
Probably could have went up higher on this chart. But this is tough. This competition this year is tough. The King's Disease, amazing album. Conceptual wise, Nas is one of my top 3 or 4 MCs ever. You know what I'm saying? Virgo in the mix. I love the way he mixes street with, you know, some philosophy. I love the way he never really sold himself. He stayed Nas the whole time. Of course, Car 85 is my joint. The Spicy joint took me by surprise. I didn't expect that joint to pop off. The joint, of course, with him and the firm reconnecting. So it was great to hear from Nas in that specific time. And again, King's Disease, it made me look up King's Disease. You know, Nas is always dropping messages, and you niggas is high on a hog. That's what that means. And King's Disease is gout, big bellies. Nobody's got that hustle in them anymore. So Nas, along with all of his projects, when he drops something, he's usually ahead of the schedule. Because when he dropped Hip Hop Is Dead, people got in their panties about it. But I understood what he was saying. Hip hop as we know it, that original vibration is no longer here because corporations have got involved and they've done their thing. So Nas really put it down in this album, and I was highly impressed by the body of work that he put in.
Definitely. And shout out to Hit Boy, man. Hit Boy is all over a lot of these projects as well, man.
Yes.
Hit Boy is incredible, man. I mean, he already have a plethora of hits, but I never looked at him as one of those producers that could take a project of a caliber artist like Nas and produce the whole thing and really make a standout project.
And allow Nas to keep his essence. Very, very important. Don't try to make these artists who they're not. You got to synchronize with their vibration and give them something to rock to. And kudos to Hit Boy because he really did that damn thing.
Word up. So your number 6.
My number 6 is gonna be Cyrock. Cyrock gets this thing popping from beginning to end. Of course, her bars, unprecedented. The joint with her and Black Thought. She got another joint. I forget the name escapes me. She's just going in on this project, and she's an artist who's been around a long time and has put her dues in and never disappoints me on an album or a project. You know what I mean? So, and now I think 2021, the world is going to recognize her more so than they've ever recognized her. And we're going to have to share her with the world because she's almost been like our little secret. Got bars, but now we're going to have to share her with the world. And her joint Forever last year, which really catapulted her and gave her, I thought, a maximum kind of almost pop exposure, led the segue to this Sharecropper's Daughter. And it is truly a masterpiece. Soul Messiah on production. It just hits. It hits hard.
Sharecropper's Daughter, man. Shout out to Cyrock. I listened to the album only one time. Like you said, being in this quickening, so much stuff keeps coming out. I never went back to it, but I did enjoy it with that first listen. So I always go back and listen to stuff. You know what I mean? I'll take a week here, 2 weeks there, and I'll just be stuck on one project. So I'll definitely get back around to that one. But shout out to Cyrock, man. My number 6 was Conway the Machine. We already kind of talked about that, but I had Conway the Machine, A King to a God. I loved it all the way through, man. The storytelling, his man on the skits and all that. I think that's one of the brothers that passed away in their camp.
Yes.
Recently, having him on the skits and all that, talking about, working with him over the years before they really popped off and all that. I thought that was a good thread for the album and all that. And lyrically, they go in, they beast. Again, he got the good collabs with the joint that Havoc produced. He got Lloyd Banks going in on there.
Yes.
And Flea Lord. That kid Flea Lord is nice. That kid Flea Lord. I think he's from Queens. But yeah, man, that King to a God, that was my number 6.
And that King to a God remember there was a whole narrative that I spoke about on my podcast, this king theory, right? Started with Black is King with Beyonce. Then we had King's Disease, from King to a God. Biggie's crown sold at an auction, his King of New York crown. Then there was LeBron trying to regain his kingdom in the Magic Kingdom, in Disney World, the Magic Kingdom. We had King Von pass away. So it's a lot of king narrative.
Hold up, coronavirus.
Corona crown, all under the basis of this, King. So we're in the midst of some kind of king narrative going. I don't want people to miss that as we, enjoying the music and know that there is a king narrative. And there was a few more in there I just can't think of. But I was like, wow, that was interesting.
That's very interesting. And y'all, that's why I chose this brother to have this conversation for stuff just like that. That's what I'm talking about. Different type of insight. Different type of insight. All right, we about to hit the top 5 now, y'all.
Yes,
we about to hit the top 5, man. It's heating up. It's heating up. But so far, it's been a great conversation so far. I appreciate everybody for joining us. Make sure y'all tap into my brother and subscribe to Urban X Podcast on YouTube. It's Urban X TV, right?
Urban X TV.
Urban X TV on YouTube. Check him and his son out. They got the dope podcast over there. I want to congratulate you too, man. I've been watching y'all growth with everything from the whole production quality, the camera quality, the graphics. You know what I mean? I think y'all hit 50,000 subscribers now, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's a hell of a landmark.
Man, a lot of hard work. And we just want to make sure we give our best, because I'm always trying to tell young people, when you start your business or your venture, you have to be ready for the happening. And you don't know when the happening is going to be. Meaning, let's say you selling t-shirts and Jay-Z get a hold of one of them and he wear it. Now, instead of moving 13 shirts a day, you up to 1,300 shirts a day. And most of us are not ready for that moment. We think we are. So when we put on our production here, I want it to seem like we are in a major studio. Cameras, switches, this and that, so that when somebody come knocking on our door to present us something of value and maybe step us up, we already know what time it is. We don't have to make a lot of adjustments. So I'm always telling young people, whatever business you into, even as an MC, don't have one album ready, have 5 of them ready. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know when it pops for you, or if you're a producer, you got to be ready, because you never know when your moment is going to come. And I just want to be prepared. So I appreciate, the support. And it took us a while to get to this 50,000.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I remember when y'all first got started, man. You know what I mean? I was picking your brain back then, man. And y'all made it happen. But just to piggyback off of what you were saying right there, man, let me give a shout out to my mentors and the ABS tribe, man. Brother Ben X, Jake Taylor Jacobs, and my sister Sabrina Kane over at Swerk Mob, man, because what they teach us, what they teaching strategies on how to build on social media, how to grow your following, how to grow your audience, how to target your niche and all of that. But one of the things that they always remind us to keep in mind is, okay, when you start bringing people over, you got to, before you invite people over to your house, you got to make sure you have some furniture for them to sit down on.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times people are worried about, they're hesitant to post things because it's not going to get that many likes. It's not going to get that many views. You know what I'm saying? But when it does finally pop off for you, when you do get to that stage where the right person shares it and then you end up going viral, when people come to your page, if they don't got nothing to view, then they're just going to come and go. You're just going to have a moment and that's going to pass you by. But if you got some substance, if your page is filled up with value and people come by from that one viral moment, they're going to be on your page binge watching everything that you've been doing. You know what I'm saying?
That's a great point, King. And it's the same thing when you're on your 10th album before you blow. And now your other 9 albums begin to sell because people go, yo, what else he got? Oh, man, I didn't even know. Look at all of this stuff. And then all your stuff, you get your glory retro.
Yes, sir.
It's the same thing. It's building that foundation. Some of the interviews we put up only get like 1,000 views. We still put it up because it's information that's going to be there as a time marker for people when they do come through and they're looking for something on it. We cover it. Great point.
And we see that happening with the versus battles and all that, man. That was another good thing for 2020 as far as music. These versus battles, people's catalogs are coming back on the charts. You know what I'm saying? Just based off of that.
Absolutely. Very great concept. You know, and introducing a lot of young people to music that they may have missed. And didn't understand the significance of.
All right, here we go, man. Top 5, man. Top 5. I'm gonna let you go first.
All right. This is a tough one, but I'm gonna have to say Benny the Butcher.
Woo!
Burden of Proof. It probably could go 1, 2, or 3, but I'm gonna save that for a little something special. But this Benny the Butcher project, man, it just hits from the beginning to the end of the project, man. And the production, timeless. You know what I'm saying? One of my joints with him and Lil Wayne was dope. Everything he did on this was just amazing, man. Legend. The opening track, Fire. It gave me a Jay-Z feel.
Yes, sir.
It gave me that Reasonable Doubt feel. I'm not gonna lie. It gave me him saying, "There's no more questions involved about who I am. This is the burden of proof. I'm gonna let the music speak to you." And it did it, man. It spoke to me, and it just put him in a whole new light. I always knew they was dope, but I learned more about him on this project, what his struggles, what his fears were during this project. So, burden of proof at number 5.
I love it. I love it. I love it, man. And this is going a little slow because I'm streaming at the same time, but
it's all good. It's all good.
That's the album right there for y'all, man. The Burden of Proof, Benny the Butcher. And yeah, man, like I said earlier, so we don't have to keep going back over the same albums. That was my number 3. I had this album at number 3. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, man, like I said, like you said, this reminded me of Jay-Z a lot. That Reasonable Doubt album, it had that feel. I feel like that's what he was aiming for, like intentionally. I feel like that was his concept. You know what I'm saying? Because even with the title, Burden of Proof, Reasonable Doubt, you know what I'm saying? You're dealing with court procedures, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so again, Hit Boy, once again, Hit Boy did the whole project.
Oh, did he?
This is all Hit Boy.
Yeah, Hit Boy's on it, man.
He's on one, man. He's on one.
Yeah.
And again, he found a way to let Benny Butcher be Benny the Butcher and still make it palatable to a broader audience.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So yeah, great project, man. Great project. That was a great pick right there. I'm gonna try to swing back and forth with the graphics as we go through this thing.
Okay.
Now we had a disagreement earlier this year. We getting into number 4, right? Me and you had a disagreement on this project, brother. I got a written testimony. Where's it at?
Oh, yeah.
Jay Electronica, a written testimony at number 4. I can't find it.
I saw it earlier. You had it up there earlier.
Where we at, man?
It was closer to the top.
Where we at? Ah.
Yeah, it was closer up top.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. A written testimony by Jay Electronica. So yeah, man, I loved it. This was one of those projects you either hated it or you loved it. It was no in between with this project.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people were disappointed. You know what I'm saying? They waited all this time for Jay Electronica to give us an official project, and then he got Jay-Z all over it. So a lot of people wasn't feeling that. Me,
that was my issue. Yeah.
I always love to hear Jay-Z, so I didn't mind that. You know what I'm saying? And just the fact, you know, it opened up with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It opened up with that as expected. You know what I'm saying? It is Jay Electronica. But, you know what I'm saying? It's just with the timing. You know what I'm saying? People was needing these messages at this moment. For 2020, I think it was very relevant to everything that people was experiencing. This is one of those years that's going to stand out to everybody. You know, all of us, all over the planet, no matter where you're from, we've had a unique experience in 2020. And so a lot of the subject matter on the album was relevant. You know what I'm saying? The production, you know what I mean? I recently got in tune with a genre called lo-fi. On YouTube, there's a genre called hip-hop lo-fi. And I listen to it when I'm reading, when I need like a quiet moment, when I need to focus. I like to have that playing in the background because it helps me, like, you know what I'm saying? And I found the production value on this album to resemble that, because it's kind of low quality. It's not super high quality and all the way mixed down and all that.
Yes.
So yeah, I loved it, man. But
my position was, and me and you went at it a little bit, but it was not personal. It was just, that's just the way it is. Because I had you check me on a few things like, nah, I got you wrong on that. And I go, true story, King. You know what I'm saying? So we never want to put ourselves in a position where we can't learn, and we're talking about opinions. I waited so long for this project, and the way he rhymes is so different and so off kilter that I'm like, I needed verse upon verse upon verse of him. And it seemed like Jay-Z kind of put his stamp on it. And I love Jay-Z too. So and then because like you said, the music production was where it was, his lyrics were always going to be in the forefront. So the music kind of just played in the background. You know what I'm saying? It didn't overpower, and it wasn't in my whip kind of music. It was more subtle learning music. I was like, I could do without it. Now, side note, the unreleased project I thought was bonkers.
I was going to ask you about that.
It was bonkers. You know what I mean? Conceptual wise, it was what I wanted. You know what I mean? So I didn't want people to think I didn't rock with Jay Electronica. Of course, I do.
Yeah.
But unreleased project, bro, that hit me hard.
I thought about putting it on the list, but I was like, that won't really be fair. Don't really count as a 2020 release. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not available no more. I don't know if you know that, but it's not on streaming services anymore. It was only up for maybe like a month, and they took it back down.
They took it down. Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. My five. What's up, Jason? My five was my five was West Side Gun. Oh, let me not skip over that. Thank you for that, brother. My five was West Side Gun, Pray for Paris.
Pray for Paris. Right now, I dropped the flex bomb. Yeah, that was crazy.
Man. That was almost number one for me. That was almost number one for me, man. But you know, there's a few things that came a little closer to my heart this year. But the Pray for Paris, that's when I really first started liking West Side. He's different than Benny and Conway.
Yes.
And so it took me a little longer to get into West Side. But this was the project that made me understand him more as an artist and go back and have more of an appreciation for some of the other releases.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
He is what we call a true artist in his garb, in his style. I love the whole wrestling theme that he placed in the whole process, which was a part of his upbringing and what he's into. Masterful project. Masterful.
Yeah, for sure, man. I love that one, man. So I got him on here twice, number 10 and number 5. So shout out to West Side Gun, shout out to whole Griselda. You know what I mean? Y'all definitely ruled 2020 as far as hip hop is concerned. That was my 5, man. So where we at?
We at number 4. You gave me number 4 for you. It was written.
Yeah, the written testimony. Okay, yeah.
The written testimony. I went with Mount Marcy, but Rock Marciano at number 4. I just started listening to that project this week, so it just creeped up on me. I didn't know. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know he was around that long. You know what I mean? On the underground, laying his foundation. I love his production. I love the beats and the samples. Bring me back to a 70s, 80s kind of feel, and that pimp talk over top of it. The way he does that, I thought it was amazing. I think it stands, even though he's a part of that whole new movement. I think he's the upper standard and the template on where this thing needs to go, because I couldn't compare this album to anything else, this Mount Marcy album.
Yeah.
So, I put that at number 4. I'm rocking it now. He got a song on there called COVID Cough, which is bonkers. He's got a joint with Stove Guard on there as well as bonkers. The whole project moves, man. The whole thing moves. So I put that in my number 4 slot.
He's definitely a seasoned veteran who understands himself, who understands his audience, and knows how to hit the mark, especially since he's his own producer. You know what I'm saying? He does a lot of his own production and all that.
Yes.
So, you know what I'm saying? That kind of makes him stand out. Same thing with 38 Special.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, shout out to all of those brothers, man. Shout out to all those brothers. I had Benny the Butcher, Burden of Proof at number 3, but we spoke about that already. So we could go with your number 3.
My number 3 is going to be Busta Rhymes.
Okay.
The new Busta Rhymes album, which I thought was an instant classic. I'm not even gonna lie. I thought aesthetically he hit the mark. I thought the album cover, making it current, hit the mark. I'm from an era when your albums had a theme to it. So extinction level event, as he moved it along as a theme. The Master Farah Muhammad was dope. Having the Minister on there, opening up with Rakim on there. And I thought he added a bunch of new guys, of course, the Kendrick Lamar's, and I forget the other guy's name. Is really dope. It'll come to me. Let me look it up real quick.
What you had on there?
He had
Let me try to scroll.
Yeah.
Let me try to scroll it. Let me go back. Y'all bear with us, man. By the way, y'all subscribe to the channel, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. Follow me on all social media platforms at Sincere Love to God. Follow my brother, The Black Dot, on Instagram, and subscribe to the Urban X TV podcast as well. So we got
Anderson Paak.
Oh yeah.
Anderson Paak on there. Of course, the joint with him and Kendrick Lamar. My favorite joint was The Best I Can. For those fathers who understand what it's like when you're going through a custody battle or something, and you're trying to keep it all together for your child in the face of this adversity that you're facing from, baby moms who may be better for this and that. And I thought they really nailed it. Him and Rhapsody nailed it, because usually when you get those songs, you get her taking the point, you ain't nothing, forget niggas. And then on his point, these women ain't nothing. When they took the polar opposite and she was admitting some of the things she did that was calculated, and he was admitting how vulnerable you are when it comes to your children, man. So The Best I Can had me in tears, man. I played it, I bust out in tears and had to play it for my family, because I've been through that in the past. And brothers, not the ones who don't care about their kids, the ones who do, I thought that song really resonated. So I thought the beats, the old school, we got, of course, ODB, the perfect blend of old school, new dudes, concept. I thought he hit the mark.
Yes, sir. I agree with everything you just said. You know what I mean? And definitely that and this was my number 2, by the way, which is next. So this is perfect. You know what I'm saying? I had him at number 2. But that Best I Can joint, man, I was listening to the album on the way to work, and when I got to work, I threw the headphones on. I'm a barber, by the way, so I got the joint playing while I'm cutting. And when it got to that Best I Can joint, I literally had to turn the clippers off and take a walk.
Yes.
I had to turn the clippers off and before they even started rhyming. Soon as Rhapsody was talking on the little skit part, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, they're going there. You know what I'm saying? Because this is something that I experienced in my personal life. This is a struggle that I have in my own family. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of brothers that go through the same thing. And it's a subject that's, to me, is not spoken about enough in mainstream media. There's nobody with no real large platform that raises this as a major issue. And this is the major issue in our community. Yeah. The family. Yeah. And, so I have a few projects that I'm working on. I have a book that I'm working on and stuff like that. That's dealing with this actual subject. So I was happy that they did this. I was proud, you know what I'm saying? And it definitely stood out. But the whole album, man, and it was this one that had Pete Rock, by the way. It wasn't the
right.
Wasn't it? Pete Rock is on here. And this is another album that reminded me of 9-6 as well. Because 9-6 was when he dropped The Coming, which was the beginning of all of this extinction level stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And he had ODB on there. ODB was on Got You All in Check in 9-6.
Yes,
you know He had ODB on the joint. He had Q-Tip with the forgot what song it is. But y'all see it. Y'all see it. I ain't gonna keep scrolling it because it kind of janky. But the Q-Tip joint, like you said, Master Farah Muhammad, the video, the Rick Ross, you know what I'm saying? Like all the visuals, MOP, you know what I'm saying? Like the joint was banging. I felt like he could have trimmed some of the fat off of there.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It would have been perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the Mary J. Blige and the Mariah Carey, it looks good on paper. You know what I'm saying? Especially given the history. But it could have did without those joints, and it would have been a perfect album, and I probably would have had it at number 1. But it fell at number 2 for me, just because of that.
And on top of that, when he came out with the deluxe, see, that's brilliant. You bring out the album, and then you bring out the deluxe maybe a couple of months later that has those additional songs on it. That Mary J. Blige stuff should have been on the additional.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Word up. And now, oh no, we only at number 2. We got your number 2, so we ain't not at number 1 just yet. We're getting there.
My number 2 was Pray for Paris.
It was Pray for Paris. Okay.
Pray for Paris. You know what I'm saying? Because A.A. Rashid was on there, of course, and I thought it was cinematic, if that makes any sense. I thought the album was very cinematic, and it's the one that segued me into the rest of Griselda, to be honest, from an album standpoint. You know what I mean? I said, well, let me start going back and really, so Pray for Paris, for me, number 2 was up there, and really dope project. And, you know, and I got to listen to it before it came out through A.A. Rashid, so I thought it was dope.
Same thing for me, man. That made me really tap in. I was already checking them from the freestyles, like on Sway and Flex and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, these boys is nice. They repping Buffalo. You know, I'm from upstate New York. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, these cats is kind of nice. But the first couple of projects, you know, it kind of threw me off. I wasn't ready. I wasn't vibing with it yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I thought I was expecting something different based off of the freestyles.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Pray for Paris that really got me all the way tapped in with those brothers, man.
Yes, absolutely.
And now we had number 1. Mine is no surprise, y'all. My number 1 is no surprise. It was King's Disease for me, hands down. That's my dude. You know what I'm saying? The album, it would have been Busta Rhymes. Like I said, I felt like I wanted to give it to Busta Rhymes because as far as the Black empowerment messages, I felt like Busta was hitting harder.
Yeah.
I always appreciate that. Nas, that's my guy. And really, I consider him to be one of my master teachers.
Yes.
But he has been getting soft lately with the messaging, man. And I understand he doing big business. You know what I'm saying? He's in the tech world. He dealing with different people from different communities and all that. And so I understand you don't want to mess up business. I get it. But at the same time, I'm a little disappointed by that. You know, him dumbing down some of the Black empowerment talk. I really don't appreciate that. But the music was dope. You know what I'm saying? The Firm joint, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
You know, Foxy, you know what I'm saying? She did a thing on there. That was great. AZ's verse. AZ had one of the best verses of the year.
As always, whenever he's on.
Just like on Illmatic, you know what I mean? No surprise there. What else was on there, man? Oh, let me pull it up. Matter of fact, man.
That Car 85 joint.
Car 85.
I used to ride around in OJs, and I know how that was.
And I was surprised that so many people outside of New York was rocking with that joint. Like that was the song that most people was talking about. Car 85.
And of course, Spicy.
Yes.
You know, which was dope. Him, you know, connecting with the younger dudes. You know what I mean?
And it worked. He tried it a few times before with Khaled. Had him on a joint with I think Travis Scott, and it didn't really hit right. It didn't really hit right. But Hit Boy figured it out. He cracked the code to make Nas make sense on what's going on today.
Facts.
And so I definitely appreciated that. It took a little bit long, but here you go, y'all. There go the graph right there. King's Disease. That was number 1 for me. Number 1 album of 2020 was King's Disease. Yeah, Griselda got 4 out of 10 on my list.
Yeah,
I think on both of our lists.
On both our lists, absolutely.
Yeah, well deserved.
Yeah, well deserved. And my number 1 is going to be LSD. LSD by Cam Bada. I know that's one of my favorite MCs in this time. His wordplay, his lane that he sits in, he's like all alone in this lane. And this LSD lunar solar duality, I think he really apexed. I like the projects he did with Brother Rich, Black Magic 363. But in this one, I thought he really, really let loose, and I couldn't stop listening to it. That's the album I listened to 10 times since it came out. I love his wordplay. I love his ad-libs is worth the price of admission. The way he wakes up everything he says with the perfect ad-lib, it's almost like it's cinematic as well. The shit is in Dolby. So I'm from an era, I'm old school. We used to just rhyme on the track. You may have doubled up your lyrics here and there, and that was it. What he has done is he's made every single lyric like an event. You know what I mean? So when he rhymes, bata, hata, he's really adding the undertone for the visuals. You know, when MC start rhyming, you get visual. He's adding the 4K almost to it with his ad-libs. So the LSD project, he got a joint on there called Nigga La Tesla, where he's, oh my God. I mean,
the
shit.
Conceptually, he's out of here, man. I don't know what kind of shrooms this brother is taking.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what kind of LSD is in the cereal, but man, if you into lyrics, if you into having to dissect and break things down and listen over and over to catch the meaning, I had this on my honorable mentions. I had this album on my honorable mentions, and I had a feeling that you was going to have it somewhere on your list. But shout out to you giving him his flowers, putting him at number 1, because it is an incredible project. I listened to it a few times myself, and man, try to keep up if you can.
Try to keep up. Yeah.
Try to keep up if you can, man. People talk about, Eminem and stuff like that, but if you into that, tap in with this brother right here, Ken Bada, LSD, Lunar Solar Duality, and talk to me in the next 5-10 years when you finally wrap your head around it, and we can have a discussion.
Absolutely.
He's one of those guys.
Yep. So that's the 10, and we had a lot of stuff that was similar, so it was dope.
Yeah.
Put in the comment section your 10, and it keeps the conversation going, because there's so much great music that came out that me and the God, sincere, we can't get to everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So you have your list, I have mine, and it's really, really dope. Who's the guy? What's the dude name? I should know his name. He was in the beef with Meg Thee Stallion.
Tory Lanez.
He made my honorable mentions.
He made mine too.
He made my honorable mentions because he put his foot in that body of work. He definitely did. So
he did, and he nice. He nice. I feel like he need to get around the right type of people to really get in his bag, because he's so talented. He's so multi-talented. It's almost like you don't recognize him. Like, he sounds different on so many different songs.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That confuses the audience. But he needs somebody to bring all of that together. You know what I'm saying? And have a great fusion. But he was on my honorable mentions. I had Jadakiss on my honorable mentions.
Absolutely.
One of his best albums, if not his best album.
Yes.
T.I., he had a good project that he put out.
Check that out.
Who else I want to shout out over here?
I had a dude named Flash on my honorable mentions. He's from South Jersey. But when I listened to the whole album. Now I can't find it, so I don't know what happened. He had a bunch of guys like Little C's, some other dudes from Brooklyn on. It was a real dope project. His name was Flash, and so he made my honorable mentions as well.
Okay, no doubt. I'm going to shout out to my brother Smooth Haynes out there in Connecticut, man. If y'all not familiar with Smooth Haynes, that's another dope MC that y'all need to tap into. He dropped 2 EPs this year called the GQ projects, and I listen to them as one album. You know what I mean? It's like 6-7 songs on each one of them, and when I get on my Smooth Haynes shit, I'm listening to that like it's one album. So y'all might want to tap in with that. Shout out to NLE Chopper, the young boy NLE Chopper, man. He's showing a lot of growth, and he's evolving just as a human being. A lot of stuff that he's starting to talk about. He's getting into the spiritual aspect of things, a lot of metaphysical talk. You know what I mean? And he's raising the vibration of the music. You know what I'm saying? And he's from that young boy era. You know, he's still flashy, still got the jewels and all that. But he's talking about eating healthy, eating vegan and all that, and raising the vibration and meditating and stuff like that. So shout out to him.
You got to match the vibration You got to come as the people to teach the people. So he don't lose his essence of who he is with his street stuff, but his message is going to draw a whole different audience.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Akeem Ali, he got that Pimp record out. It's him acting like a pimp. I forget the name of the song. Watch out for him, because I just saw him doing a concert live. He got this real aesthetic song where he's a pimp and he's filing his nails, and he's got some sister all around him. Really dope satire. Now I don't know if he could pull that out for a whole album.
I gotta check that out.
Mississippi, and they said in Mississippi he's making a name for himself. So Akeem Ali.
Akeem Ali. I gotta check that out. I want to give a shout out to the Golden Child. Muslim brother out there. I believe he's in Chicago. He's the son of Hashim Redeem Hakim, the brother that was freestyling with Jay-Z and DMX on Backstage.
In the movie, yes.
Yeah. His son, he put out a project this year. Damn, I can't even think of the name of the project. Let me see. I'm not sharing no more, but I should be able to pull it up pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Golden Child. His name is spelled like goals. It's not the regular golden. His name is spelled like goals. Golden Child. So y'all might want to check him out, tap in with him if y'all into, you know what I'm saying, real messages of Black empowerment and Black unity. And, you know, he's a student of the minister. So you already know what to expect from him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the album is called The Subliminal EP, and that's the Golden Child. So y'all make sure y'all go check that out. Papoose. Papoose had a good project.
He keeps great projects, and for some reason he can't get over that hump for whatever reason. And you know, and I love his rhyme style. He can go with the best of them.
The best of them.
And I think he's not choosing the right songs.
It's like G-Rap. It's like the G-Rap thing. Yes. You know, G-Rap one of the illest ever, but he could never, you know, really blow past that certain level. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, it just wasn't marketable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You were MC's MC. The MCs love you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I see Papoose the same way. You got any more honorable mentions you want to say before we get out of here?
That's pretty much it. I liked the project K Slay working on. He put the MCs on one song. I don't know if you heard this.
I didn't listen to it. I saw that, but I didn't listen to it.
It's worth it because I think each one of them is only doing 8 bars. And it really hits off from the East Coast to the West Coast. I thought he did a dope, you know, job with that. And he has a project coming out, you know, in the future. So look out for K Slay. DJ.
Yeah, man. And that was basically it for me. I had that J Electronica Act 2 project as an honorable mention, but we already spoke about that. And of course, I got to shout out the King by Any Means with me and my brother Lou Season. We dropped the album in 2020. So make sure y'all go check that out.
What happened to the song me and you were supposed to do? What happened?
Ain't nothing happened. We still gonna do it.
Okay, that's what I want to hear.
Now we got it on record. So we got
it on record. Exactly.
We got it on record. So yeah, we definitely got to make that happen. And there go DJ RP Beats just came in the room right there. So he need to send some beats out.
Absolutely.
Send a beat your way so we can make this happen, because we got the follow up to what's the name of our album? Master Elements coming out in 2021. We working on that right now. So we gotta get you on there, brother.
Yeah. Oh, shout out D Smoke. I've been hearing a lot about him as well.
D Smoke. Oh yeah, I didn't listen to his album yet.
I've been hearing good things.
He's nominated for a Grammy, so I was like, yeah, I got to see what's up with that. And that was another interesting too. The Grammy selection this year. A lot of conscious music on there.
Yeah, exactly. So
I was like, wow,
that's a sign of the times to come. But they also left somebody off of significance. It escapes me at the moment because we talked about it on my podcast. It'll come back to me at another time, but they left a few people off that list that should have been, but I see it swinging conscious. So Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. RP Beats, he had Brandy on there. Brandy, I love Brandy, man. She's one of my favorite singers. And you know what messed me up with that? It was the single. She had that Baby Mama single, man. And that you know what I mean? Like, we don't need that right now, man. We just don't need that. We don't need that type of gender divide talk. So it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, and I ain't even really get into the album because of that.
Got you. We mentioned Tay Noir. She was dope. We mentioned that already. Oh yeah, Deshaun Price and Little Fame Project. Yeah, my
Okay.
Lord. They got it. Listen, Sean, Sean Price is a beast. And I thought, yeah, they popped off. So that was also in my honorable mentions.
Another one I thought you was going to mention was Royce the 5'9", Allegory.
Yes. See, when you call me, I didn't do my due diligence. You know how that go.
Yeah.
Let me grab the ones that I know I've been spending a lot of time with. But that, Freddie Gibbs had a dope project. You know what I mean? Him and the Alchemist. So there was a lot of good music. A lot of good music.
So he had the Sharecropper's Daughter on there. You know, he had the Streams of Thought, Black Thought joint.
Yes.
Tory Lanez. We talked about that. Yeah. Yeah. So shout out to DJ RP Beats, man. We appreciate you adding on to the conversation, brother.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And my man, Black Dot, man, I appreciate you coming on the platform, man. You such an inspiration to me, man, on many levels.
Thank you.
Know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
so this was a great conversation. You know what I mean? I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Make sure you follow my brother. Give him your credentials, man.
I'm at on Instagram, the Black Dot with the number 1. I'm on Twitter with the same thing, and of course, Urban X TV on YouTube. That's how you get up with us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I know you got some products and stuff. Anything you want to plug?
Oh, go to shopurbanx.com so you can check out all of our merch we use. You know what I got on now. We got hats. You know, we're trying to, bring it up. So go to shopurbanx.com and you can go to Urban Extras if you want to see any of the skits we do, because we do these skits, having fun.
Funny as hell.
So we got all that stuff up there, yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. So yeah, you can follow me. I'm at Sincere Love to God on all platforms. The podcast is called Sincere Love to God Cast, and I always got to give my disclaimer. Yes, I am biting off of Lord Jamal with the title of my podcast.
Absolutely.
I've been inspired by Lord Jamal my entire life.
As you should be, yes.
The DJ to Brand Nubian's name was Sincere. That's where my name come from. So yes, I'm biting off Lord Jamal for all the haters out there. Yes, I am.
Yeah. I love it.
Make sure y'all check that out. And yeah, man, y'all just stay tuned. You know what I mean? More music is coming. Working on a lot of other business projects behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the whole ABS tribe, digital real estate. What was this right here? Oh, Alfredo. Alfredo should have been on there.
Yeah,
that was a good album.
Yes.
That was a good album.
Dope album. Yeah.
But yeah, man, that brings this broadcast to an end, man. Great conversation. Appreciate everybody. Make sure y'all share this, like, share, subscribe to the channel, all of that good stuff. And we'll catch you on the other side, man. Peace.